Welcome back to the Team to Be Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. I have Coach Gio back on the show as a special guest for this episode. Thanks for hopping on, Gio. How are you doing today?
Of course, man. I'm willing and able to hop on whenever. Doing good, man. Doing good. Literally, so it's 1:50 p.m. Eastern time. I want to say about an hour and a half, maybe. We saw that Shams tweet that Giannis. It's funny because Giannis, we know he doesn't want to be the bad guy. So the phrasing of
Right.
that tweet was interesting. I don't have the tweet in front of me, but it was something to the effect of, basically Giannis asked to be moved without asking. You know, it was like the nice guy's way of asking to be moved, and us that cover the Heat were intrigued because it's finally happening, or so we think.
We'll see. So yeah, I have it. Two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo is ready for a new home. Ready for a new home. At key note here, possibly I want to ask you this to start off, but like key note is at the February 5th NBA trade deadline. So he's ready to get moved this season or in the offseason as several rival teams make
Mhm.
aggressive offers to the Milwaukee Bucks for him. And the franchise is starting to listen. League sources tell ESPN. So this is not speculation anymore. I thought the writing was on the wall, especially after this latest injury that he's had. He's going to sit out. The team is probably going to be below 500 because they were 3-11 or so with him out so far this season because he's already had a calf injury and I think it's on the same leg, so which could be concerning. But beyond that, I just figured he's going to get traded, but in the offseason. But this report now says they're looking to possibly move him by February 5th. So do you believe he's going to get traded by the deadline, or do you think they're going to wait till the offseason when more teams can have access to more capital and can, potentially put out better offers? What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, I think this is more on his agent, and what I mean by that is, in this day and age where players have a lot more power than they used to before, I think your agent has a lot to do with how you get moved. We've seen how things turned out with Aaron Godwin, with Dame,
Yep.
and when he said Miami and only Miami. Although there's other teams, other players that have requested deals like that, or requested to be moved like that. I think his agent will have a lot to do with that. I think if he does get moved by the deadline, his agent probably pushed for that a little bit more aggressively. But in my opinion, I think it's going to happen in the offseason, just solely based off the fact that, excuse me, just solely based off the fact that for Milwaukee, they'd be able to accumulate more assets. They'll be able to get more draft picks. And there's a plethora of teams that would be more willing to enter. For example, let's say OKC or San Antonio is not satisfied with how the season ended. They have basically more trade capital than anyone, and they have the pieces. I found it interesting in one of the reports, which you have to be careful, people. All right, not everybody's an insider. Yes, there's people that might have a source, but if you're holding on to every single tweet that you see, I mean, relax. You go back to work, do something productive with your life. But one of the one of the top insiders had tweeted something to the effect of that Milwaukee is looking for former All Star and blue chip
Blue
talent.
chip. I saw the blue chip. I didn't see the
Saw the
former
blue
All
chip.
Star piece.
I saw something like that or something similar to that. And there's not a lot of teams currently that can offer the draft capital that Milwaukee would be seeking, as well as blue chip talent. So this is why I believe, and I think you agree with me, that this is something that'll happen more so in the offseason.
Hmm.
But if it does happen before then, and this is my long-winded way of saying it, I think it's because his agent had a lot to do with it.
For sure. Do you think his calf injury, which I alluded to, he's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks? I don't know if they have a diagnosis on that. I know Giannis came out basically self-diagnosed that he thinks he's going to be out because he had that same injury to the same calf earlier in the year, missed those 14, 15 games, whatever it was. Do you think, though, this could deter some teams to trade for him at the deadline?
No, I don't think so. The reason why I say that is because although he's had, I want to say 3 to 4 calf injuries in the past 2.5 seasons, that is more concerning to me than this actual present one. But I think that teams that are maybe more intrigued, and for example, like a Washington did with Trey Young, where they're like, all right, we're going to acquire you and shut you down. right? There's maybe some teams that might be willing to do that, that might be out of the playoff picture. But in terms of the teams like we've heard, New York, Miami, Golden State, I don't think they care. They'll wait the 4 to 6 weeks because Giannis, when he comes back, hopefully he'll be rested. He'll go through the therapy, the recovery, the rehab that he needs in order to be in the right place. But one thing that I would say, 31 in the NBA these days, you're still in your prime. So I have no concerns about that. But I would be, if I were Giannis, I'd be very wary and making sure that I'm getting the proper treatment, the proper rehab, because this is the third or fourth
Hmm.
different calf injury that he sustained in the past since Dame got there. I recall since Dame got there, he started having these calf injuries. So I don't think that's going to deter teams because he's such a generational talent. But I do think that you want to beware.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So the blue chip piece, like I think that is important because a team like the Knicks could theoretically somehow, if there might be 3 team, 4 team deals, but like if they want, I don't think they have like a young guy like besides like Tyler Kolek on their team or anything like that that they could offer. But like they could theoretically offer like a Cat, a Bridges, a Kolek or whatever, and like that helps the Bucks compete. But like, why would they want to do that this season? Like, I think the best bet is to shut them down. And to your point, wait to the offseason. Of course, I agree with you on that because you can get more teams, more draft picks during the offseason. Like, again, the Knicks have no tradable picks today, but in the offseason, they'll have 2. Miami has 2. They'll have 4 in the offseason, right? There's teams like that that get picks activated because of the Stepien rule, I'm assuming. But wouldn't it be in the best interest also just for the Bucks to lose because they technically do have their pick this season, right? It's between them and the Pelicans,
Mhm.
and they'll get the lower pick, whatever, right? I mean, the Pelicans will probably get the better pick, essentially, because I assume they're still gonna have a worse record than the Bucks since they're in the West. But um, why would you want that blue chip guy or even all star now, right? Because that's gonna help you theoretically compete this season when you should be wanting to tank. So
Um,
I think that I don't know if that makes sense, right? Like I would want to wait if I was the Bucks, also not just be Giannis, not just based on Giannis's agent's decision as well.
I mean, I would say to that, not necessarily. Like, let's hypothetically, again, this is coming from someone that I'm a very half glass half full kind of guy, but I haven't seen Miami pull off something like this, right? So I'm not holding my breath, let's say, right? But let's say hypothetically, right, Miami and Milwaukee can strike a deal. The blue chip we can agree is Khalil Ware. Do you think Khalil Ware is going to get you any closer to the playoffs than Milwaukee currently is? Because I don't think so, right? So I think they can still tank, right, quote unquote. I think they can still do that while acquiring a guy like the package that everyone's assuming is that Khalil's going to be involved as well as Tyler Hero, who's been hurt all year. Do you think that that team is a playing team? I don't think so. I just really don't. So I think Milwaukee would still be uh, a team tanking that will get a lottery pick. And also one thing to keep in mind, the reason why I mentioned earlier about the agent. Okay, so if Giannis gets traded before the deadline, right? He can sign his extension immediately. And the extension, remember, he has to be with a team. I think the extension would be like a 245 or 300,
Yep.
something like that, 245 mil. It behooves him and the agent, because the agent gets a cut, to sign that extension before February 6th. Because you got to be with your team at least 6 months. If he waits till after, it's a much smaller amount.
He gets
So
the biggest opportunity if he gets
he gets
traded,
the biggest opportunity if he gets traded. Now, for Miami, and we're talking about we're a Heat podcast, right? So for Miami, I think their best opportunity to acquire Giannis would be before the deadline for these reasons. They have 2 tradable firsts right now, and they can do a few pick swaps, right? It would behoove Miami to do that now because once the offseason comes around, they
right?
might have to compete with OKC, who has plenty more assets.
Because they
They
could
might have
lose.
to, they could, yeah,
They look mortal now. They looked immortal at the beginning of the year, 24-1, but maybe, and they're dealing with injuries too. Jalen Williams is out
yeah,
again, right? So it's like one injury. I mean, anything can happen. It's a war of attrition. It's not just the most talented team. It's the talented team, the lucky team, and the healthy team, right? Like
yeah.
there's usually 3 main variables when it comes to winning a championship. So
And we know there's been Giannis smoke to New York, and then you're going to allow New York the
God,
opportunity to be able to trade assets that they'll in turn have. Because not only will they have picks, but this is a very deep draft. So maybe New York can trade whoever Milwaukee likes, right? The draft pick that they get. So it gets kind of muddled there for Miami. So I think this is
yes,
their best chance to go all in. Like this is your chance to say, hey, look, who do you want outside of Bam? The reason I say we all know that Giannis is a better player than Bam, but the reason why I say outside of Bam is because Giannis is only going to come to Miami if Bam is there. Why is he going to come to Miami and play with Tyler Hero, or play with Norman Powell or Andrew Wiggins? He wants to play with Bam, and he wants to be coached by Spo. So put everything on the table. That's not that and see what they say. And if they say no, well, you pivot.
yeah, for sure. Also, waiting till the summer gives teams opportunity to add expiring contracts that are not expiring this year that might be expiring next year. So that's another wrinkle and variable to think about too. But I'm trading. I'm trading Spo. I said in a tweet. Looking around, I'm trading Pat Riley. I'm trading Bam. I don't give a shit, Giannis. You want to play with your Nigerian brother, Bam Adebayo. We know he's the Greek freak, but he's also Nigerian, just like Bam. So I understand that sentiment, but like I'm selling Norm, Tyler, Jaime, whoever it is. Like if we're including Bam, like then we don't have to offer everything. But if we're not including Bam, which obviously I don't want to include Bam, then because you figure it out afterwards, you just have the most amazing front court defensive duo. But then Giannis is so elite offensively. He's like a Shaq light of this generation, right? Obviously, he's not a center, but he's so dominant in the paint. Bam's shooting like way better this season. Like he could spread the floor a little bit, right? I mean, they're both going to operate down low effectively, which could be an issue. But Bam, he could play in that mid post. He could play at that elbow, right? Like he's got that mid range that Giannis doesn't have. So I would definitely do everything in my power to keep Bam Adebayo, of course. But like if I had to trade Bam Adebayo and like Kasparis and like whoever and keep Tyler, keep Norm, then I'd be okay with that too. But would Giannis be okay with that? Probably not. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm calling Pat Riley. I'm calling Andy Ellsberg right now. What is the best offer they can include for Giannis today? Because to your point, I agree with you. They have to, even though they'll have 4 picks to offer in the future, again, they're going to be competing with way other teams, different scenarios. We don't know what's going to be going on. To your point, with Houston, with San Antonio, with OKC, with all these teams. What is the absolute best offer that you think will actually get it done? Give me every player, all the picks, the swaps, second round picks. What
From
do you think?
Miami's aspect, you mean?
Yes. What's the best offer?
So
And no fleecing, no bullshit Pat Riley fleecing. This is like you're gonna lose the fan base. He might not care. He's 80 years old at this point, but he wants to win one more. We know he does technically, right? And it's to all the stupid delusional Heat fans on Twitter. It's not easy getting superstars. Like superstars don't get traded overnight unless you're the Lakers and it's rigged and you get Luca for free. Like it doesn't happen like every
allegedly, we got to be careful.
allegedly, but
Allegedly.
like every few years you don't see a like elite superstar getting traded. It's a lot. It's very difficult. So Pat, without trying to fleece for one time in your life, like if you're actually all in, we need to do this now and beat everybody. What's your best offer? Full offer. Give me the full package.
So what I would say to that first off is you got to do it now, because
Yes, I
you
agree
don't
with you.
know if let's say Jalen Brown gets hurt and Boston's like, hey, we got to make a splash, right? So you don't know what's going to happen between now and the summer. So if I'm Miami, right? If I'm Miami, I'm including for sure Tyler Hero. Why? Miami's not going to sign him. They're not going to sign him. Pat wanted to see how Tyler was going to do this year, and obviously he's been hurt because
That G-Day.
he had his best season last year and he didn't sign him, so he's not going to sign him now. So you got to get rid of Tyler, right? He's a former All-Star. The 2 seasons that he's been healthy, he's been sixth man of the year. Miami was the first seed, and he led Miami to the playoffs, and he was an All-Star.
Yep.
If the kid's healthy, he can play, but he hasn't been healthy. So Miami's you got to include Tyler. He's your best probably trade asset in terms of salary.
30 million.
Then
You gotta include him.
you got to include him. Then you got to include Khalil Ware. He's has the most upside on the entire roster just because of his raw physical ability. He's a 7 foot center that is extremely athletic, can block shots, can hit the three, you have to include him. You can't just offer a poo-poo platter to Milwaukee. So right there, you have your former All-Star, you have a blue chip prospect. You got to throw in your two tradable first round picks, 2030, 2032, and you can offer up to three first round swaps. Okay. They got to include those. So draft capital, that's what they can offer today. Okay. Now, some would say, oh, well, include Rozier because maybe they want an expiring. Maybe, sure. But that's not your best offer. Your best offer would be the third piece would be Andrew Wiggins because it allows Milwaukee to still have a player that's a two-way player that can help them compete if they want to and sell that to their fan base. Or he's also a guy that can be flipped for assets
Exactly.
if the trade is done soon enough, or even in the offseason because he has a player option for next season.
They have to flip him this year, technically. So it's like
Yeah.
they would have to reroute him. Possibly, they probably would have to work this out where Andrew Wiggins might go to a different team.
Yeah. Which
Maybe Andrew Wiggins goes to Golden
to
State, and
Golden
then
State.
they throw in Kuminga in the first, so
Correct.
they get 3 first picks, 1 from Golden State, 2 from us, all the swaps from us. They get Kuminga, who's a young blue chip player with Kalel Ware.
Yep.
They have to do that because otherwise
that would be the
Wiggins
cleanest
is
way to
not
do
going to
it.
opt in. Wiggins is going to opt. Is he going to opt out? What's his market though? Would Wiggins get 30 million again? Because he's going to make 30 million next year. Would he opt in
Wiggins.
with the Bucks and then get traded as an expiring contract the next year for a pick?
Now,
Would that work?
I'm not telling you the best scenario for Miami, but the best scenario for Wiggs would be either stay in Miami and restructure like what Duncan did with Detroit, where he got a smaller. Remember, Duncan was supposed to earn 20 this year.
Yep.
He got a 3-year deal, making less per year, but he has a more longevity in the deal and more money over time. I think Wiggs would do something similar for a Miami or Golden State. And I think if he were to do it, if he were to get moved eventually some way, whether it be Miami with Golden State or Miami, Milwaukee, Golden State, or however, he would do a deal similar to that where he'd do like a 3-year deal, making 20 a year as opposed to making 30. And I think if, let's say, because Thanasis is going to get included in that deal. Like it's going to happen. It's not just going to be Giannis.
And Alex, he's on the team too. I didn't even realize his other brother's like on their team
Okay.
too.
So if you include right Thanasis, you include Alex, and you include like a Gary Trent, right? Miami can move Tyler, Khalil, Wiggs, or Terry, which I don't think that's likely. But let's say that happens. You could throw in whichever Kasparis, Jaime. Pella is probably the one that I would want to stay with because he can plug and play with whoever. But let's say you do that. You do it immediately. You do it. Because I know you were playing earlier. You were saying, I mean, I know you were joking about it, but you were serious. Where if you got to trade Spo, you got to trade Bam. I get it. But Giannis wants to win, and he's not going to win if Bam is not on this team with him. So I think Miami can run a roster of Davion at the 1, Norm at the 2, Pella at the 3, Giannis and Bam, and they would be a top 3 team immediately in the Eastern Conference. Do I think it's likely? No, for reasons that I mentioned earlier. But I think that's the cleanest all-in deal Miami can offer.
Yeah, dude, you have to throw in Jaime. I don't even if you throw in Wiggins. Like think about Giannis is making 58 million. So I mean, you want to get close to matching as possible. We're not a first apron team, so we don't have to match
I think he's
exactly.
54. I'm pretty sure he's 54.
I have it right here. Let me see. 54 this year, 58 next year. So Andrew Wiggins is like 27, right? This season. Tyler's 30, so that would be it. That would be over right there with just those two, I guess. So you would have to throw in like the brothers / Gary Trent or maybe even a Bobby Portis. That would be sick. To get his contract, he's expiring, I believe, too. But just throwing out a number because I know he makes around 10 to 12 million or whatever it may be. But again, that package, Tyler, all the picks we mentioned, I would give up Wiggins to get it done. Like you got to overpay. Sorry,
Yeah,
you can't underpay it. So everything you said plus Jaime because Jaime is going to be up for an extension. Obviously, he's having the better year technically than Pella. He's potentially a 6th man of the year, averaging 15, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists.
And they paid Nico. They paid Nico. So yeah, I think you pay him, but then also you keep Pella then because he's on a rookie scale contract. And he's obviously not as great as Jaime, but he's not far off at this point, right? So, and he's our glue guy, and he does everything. So you want to keep him because of his contract, because you're bringing in Giannis. So I still think you throw in. I think you have to throw in Jaime because of his upside. Yeah. He's also like
a good rotational player. Blue chip is Kalel. Then you got Tyler as in kind of the all-star scoring kind of guy, and then you got Andrew Wiggins as the guy you could flip for someone else for that 3-and-D type guy. That's not a horrible team to be like a play-in team for them, right? Like for the following year, if they had Wiggs, if they had Tyler, if they had Kalel, if they still have Ryan Rollins, if they still
Oh
have Bobby
yeah, and
Portis,
they'll have a lottery pick.
and they have all the 2 picks or whatever, like in the swaps, like I think that's huge. So
And here's why if they request Jaime, you include him.
of course,
Jaime does something that nobody on this team can do, and that's get in the paint every possession. No matter who's on him, this guy gets in the paint.
yep,
You don't need him that much if you have Giannis on your team.
you definitely don't need him. He's redundant. He can't like you have Giannis
Now,
who's a Jaime times a million, basically, right? So a bigger, better, stronger superstar MVP version of that, right? Very similar games in a sense. I would say they both can't shoot. They try the midi at like, you know what I mean? Like they don't really shoot from
well,
three.
Giannis the past 3 years has been top five, I think, in midi efficiency.
Elbow and below.
So if you look at the the
Actual
the
mid
the
range.
the actual mid-range field goal percentage, he's up
Sheesh.
there. And in the post, I believe the only player more efficient than him in the post is Jokic.
Not Jovic.
No,
Jokic.
definitely not.
I love it. All right, let's close here. What's your prediction? So do you think you think he's going to get traded in the offseason, right?
That's
So
my prediction. Yeah, off season, and it's
and to
anybody's
who?
game.
And to who though? I know it's anybody's game, but who's the he has a destination list. He has the Knicks, he has the Heat. I'm sure he wants to go to the Warriors. Just give me your prediction. Just in general, where does he end up? It could be before the trade deadline, it could be at the offseason. Just give me a team you think.
Man.
Betting odds.
So I'll give you two teams, right? The team, in my opinion, as a basketball, like I just love the game, and I think it would be like the best situation for him basketball wise. San Antonio, in my opinion, I think him and Wemby would be generational defensively. That team would win. Them against OKC in the playoffs every year would be like sick. I think I hate to say it because I'm a Heat guy. I think he's gonna be a Nick.
That would be miserable.
Yeah.
That'd be worse. That's like the worst. That's probably one of the worst case scenarios for a Heat fan.
Yeah.
I think it's Golden State or the Miami Heat, and I don't really think it's going to be the Miami Heat. So I guess it's going to be the NBA's rigged. They're going to try to give Steph one more
So
opportunity.
so can I tell you why I don't think it's Golden State? Although there has been rumors in the past, just like there's been rumors of Miami.
Sure.
So for Golden State to make it work financially, you got to either move Draymond or Jimmy or Kaminga. Kaminga is not going to be there, I don't think, by next season, by the off season. They're not going to trade Jimmy. They've already kind of came out and said Draymond did that they're not going to do stuff like that to Jimmy, and they're not going to trade Draymond. So
Why would
I
the Bucks
think
want Draymond's old ass anyway? What the hell is he going to do there? Like,
correct. And then they have picks, but they don't have a blue chip young guy other than Kaminga. But the only way that trade happens is if it's like a three-way deal. Because I don't think you understand what I'm saying. Like I don't because they're
yeah,
they're gonna have to gut the entire roster and then just sign like Dennis Smith Jr. from the G League to make you know what I mean to
he's on
round
our
out
G
the
League
roster.
team. He
That's
just
what I'm
signed that
saying.
G League.
Yeah, but like there's really it's it, it's too unfathomable in my eyes. But hey, man, we've seen crazier things, right?
We'll see. But Heat Nation, we're going to be on Twitter every second looking for that Shams report. And every single insider basically speculating where he can go by the deadline. So we're 7 days, 8 days away from the trade deadline, somewhere around there. So yeah,
Just
February 5th.
about.
This is gonna be crazy. Please, Pat, please God, like this could
One
be one of
last
those
time.
moments.
One last time.
It's been how many years since this actually happened? Screw Jimmy Butler. I love Jimmy Butler. That trade was not transcending where I would freak out. Like that was
But
great trade. That was
okay,
amazing. But I mean, like it hasn't been since 2010. That wasn't even
okay,
a
but
trade.
but remember how happy we were on Depot Day. We thought we got Depot. People were happy about the Depot deal. People were happy about the when we
I
got
get it.
Kyle. When we got
I,
Kyle, but we haven't had a super. I get you.
I
I know
get
what
it.
you're
I'm a
saying.
diehard. I was happy with freaking Brian Grant and Anthony Mason like trade back in the day, like Eddie Jones type stuff. You know what I mean? Like give me like moves like that. I know you love to talk about.
Norm was a great trade as well.
Norm was great. Like these are all great. And I know you like the Iggy, like all that, even though he was old as shit, and Crowder trade, all that stuff. But like those are great. But like we haven't had a moment like this
Yeah,
since 2010. Like, yeah, Jimmy's great, but Jimmy's no MVP. Jimmy's no superstar. He's
I
no
get you.
NBA champion.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess LeBron wasn't a champion either at that point, but still, this is like
Mm.
this could change the landscape of the entire NBA and the Miami Heat. And Jimmy Butler was not that. All those other trades signings were not that. The last time this happened was 2010. Before that was
Yeah.
2005, 3,
Shaq,
4, 2004,
2004.
2004, 2005, whatever that was. Like those are the last two shattering like
Yeah.
our fan base, basically like the best day ever. So we'll see if that can happen. But anyway, thanks for hopping on, Gio. Appreciate the time as always. Hope to have you back on soon when it is announced that the Miami Heat are going to be getting Giannis.
Oh, that would be the day, man.
We'll have you back on if it happens. We'll break it together. Sounds
Yes,
good.
sir.
All right. Thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate
Of
the time.
course.